to another video. At the moment we're driving up past Ladybower Reservoir up the Derwent Valley. Now the plan is to drive all the way to Kingstree, which I'll tell you about when we get there, more about it. And then we're going to set off walking and camp hopefully on Horse Stones Naze. It is a bit breezy, so we'll have to see what the weather and the wind is like once we get up there. But I'll come back to you when we get up to Kingstree. So we're just approaching Kingstree. This is the end of the road. I'm going to go around the little roundabout and then come back on myself and park up. So behind me is Kingstree. That's where we turn the car round. Now Kingstree was planted 25th of September 1947 by King George VI, and it was to commemorate the opening or the completion of the Ladybower and Derwent Dam complex. It was a massive feat, that, because if you think the Ladybower Dam had been built through the Second World War. So this tree commemorates that opening, but it's about the only place I know on here where you can actually park your car and leave it overnight. So from here we're going to head off up the Derwent Valley. We've got about a kilometre of road walking, or a bit of a track, and that'll get us to Slippery Stones Bridge, and I'll see you up there, tell you a little bit more about the bridge. The water level's down a bit, but it's not bad for this time of the year. So we've just arrived at Slippery Stones. Just go through this gate and then down to the bridge. On the bridge now, looking up the Derwent Valley. So behind me is Slippery Stones Bridge. Now this was a 17th century pike horse bridge further down the valley, and when they flooded the valley to build the dams, the bridge would have been lost. So they recovered the bridge, probably 1944-ish, marked and numbered every stone and put it into storage. But it wasn't until 1959 was it finally reconstructed in its present location. Anyway, we're going to head off up the Derwent Valley now and head towards where we'll be camping up on Horse Stones. So I'll show you on a map where we're heading, and then you'll get a better idea where we'll be camping tonight. My car is parked down here at Kingstree. We've walked along this track till we've got to Slippery Stones Bridge, where we are now. From here we're going to head off up the Derwent Valley, really, following the River Derwent, Cranberry Bed, Oakham Bank, and then at this point we're going to turn off and go up Stainery Clough. Starting to climb a bit more now, hoping to get some water up here, and then it's a steep climb straight up to Horse Stones Naze, and that's where I'm hoping to camp tonight. Some fantastic views from up there. So that is the plan. That is where we're we're heading. Just following the path along the side of the River Derwent at the moment. On the right we have a steinery clough, so we're going to leave the River Derwent here and head up that clough. So this is Steinery Clough. It's a very pretty and peaceful place. We're going to head up here, and a bit further up we'll collect some water. Just filtering my water here. I'm going to drink a litre before I set off, and then take 3 litre with me. That's for drinks, my evening meal and tomorrow's breakfast. It does mean carrying an extra 3 kilograms up there, but you need that amount really to rehydrate yourself. Well, that's where we're heading, through the heather and bracken. There's no actual paths, so it's very hard going. What a climb up this has been. This last couple hundred yards I've come up on my hands and knees. It's this steep and it's blowing like anything. Oh dear. This is one of the hardest climbs I've come up. It's steeper than the North Edge of Kinder. Oh dear me. But I think I'm about here. That was a killer. I'm just going to have a lie down, I think. Unbelievably windy up here. I'm on the top of Horse Stones Naze and I can hardly stand up, never mind pitch my tent. It was a really hard climb up through the heather, but I didn't expect it to be so windy as this. I don't think I'd pitch me Sulu on a location like this in this wind. It is so windy and there ain't that many pitches at all. What I'm going to do is go back behind me and try and find a bit of a hollow in the heather, something like that, to get a bit of protection from the wind. If I can't find anywhere like that, I'll just have to drop down to where it's a bit quieter. It wasn't so bad coming up, it's just as I've got on the top. But fantastic views. I'll try and give you a quick look at the views as long as I can hold the camera still. Fantastic views looking down on the Derwent Valley. That's a Steinery Clough in the bottom. That's where we collected the water from earlier on. You can just make out Crow Stones, top left. Then as we come round, that's looking down to where we've just walked up. A very hard climb coming up there through the heather and bracken. Well, the wind up there was unbelievable. It was nearly blowing me off my feet. I went back into the heather to see if I could find any little hollows, but there's nothing. There's just thick heather up there, and it was still so windy all over the place. It wouldn't have been an enjoyable night. It would be a night of survival, I think, and I want to enjoy the camp. That's what I come out for. So you can probably see Horse Stones Naze behind me. I've just come down there. It took me probably an hour to climb up. It's taken me about 10 minutes to come down, and I'm heading into, well, towards the River Derwent, to the Derwent Valley, the bottom of there. See if I can find somewhere a little bit quieter, not so windy, to camp. Like I say, I want to enjoy the camp at the end of the day. But yeah, unbelievable that wind. I did try to, the views were great and I tried to film them, but I think the camera were bouncing around all over the place. But yeah, we'll go and see if we can find somewhere a little bit quieter to camp. I finally got off that hill and found a nice quiet little pitch down by the River Derwent. Pitching up there wasn't sensible. I'd have struggled to get pitch because there weren't the places. It was all heather. There were a few grassy sections, but it was far too windy. I thought of dropping down and trying to find a dip, but it's hard work. So I thought, best idea, drop down to the river. I'll be safer. It'll be quieter. I'll get a better, a nicer camping. I'll be able to film. Horse Stones Naze will have to wait for another day. Alright, I carried 3 litres of water all the way up there, and I brought 3 litres of water all the way back down. All the part of wild camping. Anyway, so I've got my Terra Nova competition set up near the river. I'm pleased to say there's still a breeze blowing quiet down here, so that should keep the midges off. That's what worried me about camping down here, but there is quite a breeze and I think that'll be going all night. If not, I shall retire to the tent, zip the doors up, and I ain't coming out. So this is a Terra Nova competition. I think last camp I showed you how I'd modded all the sort of separate guying of the inner, the footprint, and the outer itself. I've done, and also the pockets. Well, I've done a few more mods now. As you can see, I've increased the guy lines on the back. They got tabs already there, so it only needed tying them on. So I put 2 on the back which are pegged out. I've got 2 on the front which I've not pegged out. But I ain't brought that many pegs. But the wind is hitting it in the back here, so it's ideal. Now, what I did while I was looking inside the tent, it didn't take much doing this, but you've got these tabs, where's my finger, up there. They were to fasten this sleeve on. Well, I've made use of one of those and put a guy rope on. I'll go into that. That's the top one where I've put the guy rope on there, and then lower down, all I did there was stitch a little bit of webbing, put a 18mm plastic ring on, and I've got another guy on. So I've got 2 side guys there, and not that you'll really see them. There's 2 side guys on the other side. So the fact I've done away with the rain shield, I've still got it guyed properly. So, and it is blustery, so I'm glad I did it really, or it would have been flapping all over the place. Now the other thing I've sorted as well is the door. So I'll go around and see if I can show you what I've done to the door. I've sorted that completely, so when I open the door I can fasten it back now. We'll have a look at that in a little bit, but this is a lovely little spot, and the sun's come out right next to the river, and that's looking up the River Derwent. So I reckon I'm going to have a lot comfortabler night down here than on top of Horse Stones Naze. I was just having a drink, waiting for the sun to move out of the way so I could show you this. So one of the other niggles of this tent I mentioned last time was you couldn't fasten this tent flap up. The Terra Nova's way was to loop it inside, but it flapped in the way. I couldn't stand it. I tried pegs, I tried magnets, they didn't all work. So I took the decision, the only way to do it would be to sew direct into the fly sheet and put a little elastic loop and a toggle, which I've done, and it works fantastic. So you'd wind that up from the inside the other way. I've got the elastic and a little toggle underneath. It's as good as that, and that is not gonna, the wind can do what it wants, that isn't gonna come undone. I didn't like sewing straight into the fly sheet. Basically I had to just hand stitch it and then machine it, because you were fastening bits of elastic either side, and then covered it in seam sealer, and it ain't gonna leak, and I don't think it'll be detrimental to the fly sheet. The ideal place, yes, is if you've got a seam coming down and you can put these elastic and toggle on the seam. I haven't, but I'm happy with that. That is made it's such a lot easier now. That ain't gonna come undone. Very happy with it. I'll just show you what I've brought in food on this camp. Tomorrow's breakfast, very easy, Weetabix. Now, as you know, I dehydrate quite a bit of my own food, and I was looking for something different to do. So I've dehydrated some sort of chili with minced beef in and rice. So that'll be my main meal tonight, chili and rice. But these have all been dehydrated at home before I came out. And then for a sweet, well, I've dehydrated some fruit, got some custard powder. I'm hoping to combine them and make some fruit and custard, something nice and sweet. So yeah, that's the food for the total camp. I think I'll have another cup of coffee and just have a relaxing hour or so. It's been a little bit stressful having gone all the way up to Horse Stones and had to come all the way back down. So I think I deserve to put my feet up for an hour and take it easy. See you in a little bit. Just made a start on my dehydrated chili. All I've done is put the dehydrated chili in here, soaked it with, I think it was 450 millilitres of water. I'm just bringing it to the boil. I might just add a little bit more water, looking at that. So yeah, just bring it to the boil and then it goes in the pot cosy, leave it for about 10 or 15 minutes and it's all rehydrated. And same for the rice, I've got some rice, I'm going to do the same with that. So hopefully I'll have chili and rice at the end of it. So I'm just checking this chili and yeah, looks okay. You can see the red kidney beans. Probably wants another 5 minutes to fully rehydrate. While it finishes off, I'll just show you a bit of video of how I prepared the chili and how I actually dehydrated it at home. So these are the ingredients I used to make 3 portions of chili. I've got minced beef, onions, tin tomatoes, red kidney beans, chili powder, and not that it's there, but garlic. All the ingredients cooked as normal in a large pan on the hob. Everything was then allowed to cool and transferred to the dehydrated trays. 10 hours later, the chili was dry and crumbly, fully dehydrated. Everything was weighed out so I could split it up into portions. I transferred it to mason ball jars, vacuum sealed them, and then it was put in the freezer for storage. That'll stay warm in the pot if I put the lid back on. But yeah, don't look bad. It's very nice. It tastes just like the day I made it. Can you believe it? I'm just eating my chili and it starts to rain. I'm glad I'm not on the top of Horse Stones at the moment. Just done with my fruit and custard. So in here, I've got strawberries, there's some pineapple and raspberries. I'm going to bring them to the boil, put them in jacket, leave them to rehydrate, and then put in that custard powder, water-based custard powder. When it's boiled, give it a good stir and a whisk, and hopefully we'll have fruit and custard. So while this is hydrating, I will show you how I prepared the dehydrated fruit. So here we have the pineapple, strawberries and raspberries all washed and prepared and put on dehydrated trays ready to be dried. 12 hours later, the strawberries are dry and fully dehydrated. The pineapple nearly done but left for a couple more hours, and the raspberries took ages. I left them for a total of 18 hours. All the dehydrated fruit transferred over to jars, vacuum sealed and put in the freezer for long-term storage. Well, this is my fruit and custard. As you can see, it's not the perfect colour. Doesn't look like custard. That's a piece of pineapple. And there's strawberries and raspberries. So the fruit has rehydrated okay, but the custard probably aren't mixed right. Perhaps if I'd have done the custard separately, it might have been better. But that's it. When you have them out of a packet that you buy, you never actually see what they look like. This might be the normal colour for fruit and custard. I don't know. Anyway, it tastes very sweet, very fruity, and you can actually taste all the fruit. So I'm going to eat it, and that'll keep me going till breakfast. Just having a last drink of cocoa before I turn in for the night. How plans change. I expected to be up on Horse Stones Naze tonight, but no, definitely too windy, and it was the right decision to come down here. I hate to think what it would be like up there. It would still be blowing because it is down here, and the pictures, I won't be level. This I've come down, I've got a nice level pitch next to the river, and I haven't got that dreaded wind howling about. That sort of wind, it could have wrecked this tent, I don't know. The Sulu would have stood up to it, but it would have been a very noisy night. Wouldn't have got any sleep or anything like that. It's always difficult to make that decision. Right, forget it. Plans are all different. We'll head down. I've got this, my Garmin InReach. I managed to message my wife, let her know that that's one of the main reasons I got it, because you go out on a planned camp and it changes. So I'll leave her a plan of where I will, grid references, and then it changes. There's no phone signal at all, so luckily I've got that. I've managed to send her a message, let her know what's happened and why I've moved. Took me about 20 minutes to type it, mind you, one letter at a time, but she'll have received it and that, so everybody knows where I am. But up there on Horse Stones, I've got 5G on my phone. I thought, great, I can look at my phone all night. Down here, I ain't got a thing. You're right in the valley bottom next to the river, and yep, there's no signal at all. But I know the weather forecast said it was going to be windy. I didn't realise it would be that windy. But tomorrow, see what it's like first thing. I think it might be a bit drizzly. I did have thoughts, if I did Horse Stones, I was going to walk all the way round to Crow Stones, Bull Stones, and then make my way back down via Cut Gate. But obviously plans have changed, so I've just got an easy walk back to Slippery Stones, and then back to my car. But into July now. I've just spent a group of us, 6 of us went. Very interesting. I think we went about 5 nights. Went to Poland, went to Krakow, and obviously from there, one place everybody tends to visit is Auschwitz and Birkenwald, the German concentration camps from the Second World War. Sort of very atmospheric. Yeah, it makes you think. It makes you realise how well off we are. I know we all have our moans and stuff like that, but how lucky and how well we are off where we live at the moment and what we're allowed to do, and the fact that, yeah, you can roam all these hills, camp on them, sort of. I know you're not allowed to by rights, but you know, we have got that freedom in a way, and it certainly makes you appreciate what freedom we do have. But yeah, it was an interesting holiday, and that somewhere I'd never been before. Can't speak any of that language for sure. Good God, can hardly read it, never mind anything else. Luckily, I think a lot of English is spoken. Anyway, I'm going to finish my cocoa, settle down for the night. I can hear the stream running by. Hopefully the water's lapping along will induce some sleep, we'll have to see. Now, I know a few people on comments have asked, are you not drinking? Well, yeah, I am drinking as normal, but I've not brought anything on the last few camps. I think because I've tried to go a little bit more lightweight, it just defeats the object where you spend a lot of money buying lightweight gear and then you bring a load of cans of beer or something like that. I know some people did say that's why you buy lightweight gear, so you can top up with beer to you've got all that spare capacity so you can take some beer. But yeah, I've sort of not brought anything on these last camps because I just I wasn't really bothered, and it was the weight side. I couldn't see the point of trying to go lightweight and carrying heavy drinker with me, and I ain't drinking as much as I used to do. I suppose as you get a bit older, you don't recover so fast, and I want to experience these camps for camps, not a load to drink and bump. You're asleep all night. We still go out, we still have our days out, and I still use my pub shed occasionally, and with summer we can sit in the garden. So yeah, I'm still drinking, but probably a little bit more sensibly most of the time. Occasionally you go out as a group and it all goes wrong, and yeah, it's difficult to say no. Yeah, we say yeah, I'll have another. Oh, we having another then, one for the road. So yeah, definitely still drinking, but a little bit more sensibly, I'd like to say. So it's just cocoa tonight, I'm afraid. I'm sure we'll be having a drink on some future videos. Anyway, I can hear the rain gently tapping on my tent. Hopefully it won't be much. So I'll say good night, and I'll see you in the morning. Night then.
Two o'clock in the morning, and it is absolutely pouring it down. First it was with the wind, now it's driving rain. Well, at least my seam sealing is held up. It's a good test for all the seams that I sealed. Good morning there. What a night. It's absolutely poured it down all night. The noise of the rain on the tent, unbelievable, and quite gusty. And that's down here in the valley bottom. But I got some sleep, but not the best of night's sleep. Anyway, very simple breakfast. I've got a cup of coffee and some Weetabix. Very easy to prepare, apart from the fact I think I've eaten Weetabix for my breakfast for the last 50 years. It's so easy. You can eat 2 Weetabix in 1 minute, I always say. Anyway, I've got 3 here, so it might take a little bit longer. So, basic plan is to get everything packed up and get on the path back to Slippery Stones and where I've parked my car. So you won't see much of me packing up. I ain't gonna film in the rain, and then I'll see you on the track on the way back. Hopefully if we get some breaks in the rain. See you in a little bit. I've just left camp, and that's looking down on the River Derwent in the bottom where we were camped last night. Not bad for a winter camp, that, was it? Mind you, it is summer. I don't know what's happening to our climate. Those were like conditions you'd expect in probably October, November. Really strong winds and driving rain all night. Unbelievable. Anyway, it was a good test for my
tent, the seam sealing, the guying, everything seemed to work fine. So yeah, definitely proved it all works, and that no leaks or drips or anything, so everything's looking good. Hopefully I won't have to use it in the rain again this year. So just making my way back down to Slippery Stones. It's quite a nice walk. All I've got to do is follow the River Derwent all the way there. So like I say, it is a nice walk, probably a couple of miles. I'm not going too quick, so even if it takes me an hour, I'm not bothered. I've got my car waiting for me when I get back there. Managed to find a little bit of shelter under this oak tree, but it does keep, you sort of drizzle, then it comes in, really blows, and you get heavy rain coming through. So if I probably won't film again until I get back to the car, and I'll have a last word with you at the car. I'll see you in a bit. Back at my car now, and it is still raining out there. I might add, mine is the only car here, and I haven't seen a soul. While I was walking down, I was thinking sort of Derwent Valley and Bleaklow and sort of Howden is a bigger challenge than Kinder Scout. I've never had any problems up Kinder Scout. Every camp I've done has gone to plan, more or less. Where if I've been up on Bleaklow or Howden on several occasions, I've never camped where I intended doing. The weather is usually the weather's beaten me, and I've had to drop down or find somewhere different or not as far. So it is definitely more of a challenge, which is good. It's good to have something that will challenge me in the future. Anyway, I shall be making my way home, and I dare say hanging up a lot of gear to dry. Get that tent all nicely dried, probably take a few days in the garage. And then I'll see you on the next one, which will be in August. I have a few thoughts. We'll see. We'll be camping. I have thoughts of doing one, bit of history, bit of walking, and perhaps a few beers. We'll have to see. My thoughts could change, but yeah, that I have thoughts of something a little bit different, and that a bit of an urban style walk and camp. Anyway, all I can say, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in August. Bye then.